I once ignored a fireman's order to evacuate a building because I assumed he was just a bloke in fancy dress.
Please, T.
OK, when was this?
When I was at university in 1841.
Were you the only person who didn't leave?
No, I don't think so. It was a student party. It was sort of fancy dress.
Oh, you were all in fancy dress?
OK.
OK.
Yeah.
What had you gone as?
I think I took a pretty easy option and I went as a Roman.
Well, what were you wearing?
Yeah.
A sheet.
It's not a Roman.
Oh, not a Roman soldier, just someone who's around in the Roman era.
A senator, not a centurion.
A Roman or a ghost?
So, first of all, where was the fire? Was it in your room?
Well, it was a fire alarm. I wasn't in the proper party bit. I was in my room with the door shut.
So how did the firefighter get in touch with you if you were locked away in your own room?
Well, he banged on the door and went, "Fire service."
With all due respect to your sheet, you must have been quite impressed with his costume.
I was.
How did the conversation go?
Right, I was in my room with someone else. We were busy.
Who were you?
Is this how the fire started? Because I know what you're like, Joe. You like to set fire to them.
Actually, we were revising.
Oh, right. What was he dressed as? You were a Roman. What was this other person?
He wasn't dressed as anything.
So there's a banging. And
There's a banging on the door.
And you stand up. Now, Joe, I expect better of
Yes,
David,
Rob.
who was the first person to titter. Let's try and have a level tonight, please. Joe, there was a banging.
On the door.
Banging,
yes.
banging, banging, banging. And then you heard the door. What happened?
What happened was this guy shouted, "Fire, please leave the building," right?
Yes.
So I just thought it was some drunk bloke mucking about.
Yes, yes.
So I said, "Could you please go elsewhere?"
What was your gentleman caller's reaction? Or was he still unconscious?
My gentleman caller was the same as me, very entertained.
What do you think, Henning? Is she telling the truth, yeah?
There is a few inconsistencies in that story.
Like?
Well, the thing about the fire, I don't believe.
We could stop there, then.
It's not, to be fair, an inconsistency, is it? There's nothing inconsistent about it. It's just it either happened or it didn't. It's not like a fire and I was in a lake. That would be an inconsistency.
So you're picking holes in Henning's command of the English language.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should continue the rest in German to give him a fighting chance, yeah? Simon, what are you thinking?
Part of me thinks it could possibly be a lie.
You're going to say lie because you think that the story has got inconsistencies.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to annoy David now.
I think I go with Simon.
So you're going to say it's a lie?
Oh, absolutely. With them kind of inconsistencies.
OK. Joe, were you telling us the truth or were you telling a lie?
It was, in fact, the truth. Once on Christmas Day, I was forced to hitchhike my way home and was picked up by 4 different drivers.
Please do.
Where were you going from and to?
I was going from London down to Hastings.
How old are you?
I was about 17 and a half.
And because nothing was running on Christmas Day, or you were skint?
No, what happened was I was meant to go home on Christmas Eve, but I missed the last train.
So you started your journey in London?
I did.
And how long did it take to get picked up? For the first bit?
Not long, actually, 10 minutes-ish.
And he said...
Would you like to come back and have Christmas lunch with me? I'm very lonely.
Seriously, he said that?
Yeah.
What sort of a man was he?
He was a gay man in his mid-70s.
How far did you go with him? No. I mean, how far on your journey did you go?
I think he drove me about 10 miles, something
Right.
like that.
So that's the first person.
Yeah.
And then, do you remember the second one?
A woman.
Yes.
Who picked me up round about the Eltham area, I think.
I like a euphemism early on in the show. We've all been picked up in the Eltham area, haven't we?
Actually, you're more accurate than you realise. She actually did make a pass at me.
This is 2 now.
Well, she said, "Where do you want to go?" And I said, "Down to the coast, please."
Oh, my God. oh. Did she go down to the coast?
Well, what she actually did was she put her arm round my neck and tried to kiss me.
She did. What had led her to believe that this was a possibility? What had happened?
The mistletoe on the wing mirror.
Yeah, she tried to kiss me. I opened the door and got out of the car and ran away.
Ah, so
Yeah.
that explains the second story. Right,
Okay.
now get to the third one.
The third guy was deaf.
I'll tell you what, if this turns out to be a lie, you deserve a medal for making this as least plausible as possible en route to the story. But, OK, so he's deaf.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I had to write down where I wanted to go.
And you said Hastings on the card.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He didn't say anything. He just started driving.
Oh, that's a bit menacing, isn't it?
He didn't look scary.
And who was the fourth?
The fourth was a farmer. He said that he was fed up with his family, so he took me all the way to Hastings.
So he's having a bad day on Christmas Day and decides he'd rather drive you to Hastings.
Well, he said that he told his wife he was going out for a paper. That's the end, really, because he dropped me off where I was going.
Did you invite the man in for a mince pie or something, you know?
No.
You didn't even invite him in?
No. Do you think that's a bit weird? I don't.
I think it's the weirdest bit of the story. He's given you a lift all the way to Hastings on Christmas Day. He's the only one who hasn't made a sexual pass at you. He's been entirely honourable. Just give him a little bit of a mince pie and some brandy butter.
So what do you think? There's a lot of detail in there.
I think it's not true.
Based on...
I think it's got too many characters, like a Tarantino film.
The bit I'm doubting is that... Wouldn't you just write on a piece of paper, Hastings, and hope someone's going to Hastings, rather than anyone going sort of that way, and I'll just keep getting out and getting out?
Have you ever hitchhiked? You sound very idealistic about it all. Well, I'm not getting in a car until I go into Hastings. I don't care what day of the year it is. Hastings, no.
Paul does have a point. That's not how it works. You just go a little bit, and then maybe... And that's part of the fun of hitchhiking. It's who you meet.
Don't try and pretend to me you've ever hitchhiked. I know you well. Getting at the back of a Mercedes once a week is not hitchhiking.
I've seen it in films, though.
So Ray thinks it's true.
It's got to be true.
OK.
Too wacky to be made up.
So you think they're too wacky to be made up, you think they're too wacky to be true?
Yeah, I think she enjoyed making them up.
So what's it going to be, then, Lee?
OK, well, we'll say... be it on your head, Ray, but we'll say it's the truth.
Saying it's the truth. OK, Joe Brand. Truth or lie?
It is true.
I once spent the night in a bush in Basingstoke.
David's team.
Right.
That's a true.
Yeah.
Why were you spending the night in a bush in Basingstoke?
I missed my train.
Where do you live?
Well, at the time, I lived in Kettering in Northamptonshire,
Right.
Rose of the Shires.
Why didn't you go to a luxury hotel?
Well, David, at the time, I had no money in my wallet at all, and my phone was dead. I had no way of contacting anyone.
That certainly adds up.
Why a bush? Why not a bench or, like, somewhere warmer than a bush?
Well,
Is a bench warmer than a bush?
I would say a bush is warmer than a
A
bench.
bench is definitely colder than a bush. It's more exposed.
there's an old saying, you're warmer in a bush than on a bench.
So where was the bush? Paint the picture of the local
It was right in
area.
front of the train station, and there was, like, a little, like, pick-up point for taxis and stuff, and then it went down a little bit to the road, and then right in front of the road, just a load of bushes.
So you didn't look for a long time for a particularly comfy spot?
I'll level with you, David. The amount of time it took me to decide to sleep in the bush was embarrassingly short.
Right. Was it? Now, that does surprise me. It was a quick decision. You've missed your train, and you go, right, that's it. And you immediately, like, 14 seconds later, you're snoring.
Well, I actually didn't get to sleep. It was scary. I was freezing, actually. Even though the bush... It was a nice, roomy bush.
Can you remember the shape of the leaves?
It was like small, little Basingstoke leaves.
Individual leaves?
Yeah.
Variegated?
OK. You had to explain what that word means.
It means there's a sort of white bit on the outside, I think.
I wasn't paying attention to the leaves. I had bigger problems at the time. I wasn't sitting in the bush going, one day, I may have to justify this entire experience on what I like it. I better memorise the leaves and whether they're gentrified or whatever you said.
So, James, you've settled down in the bush and you're lying there, but it's cold.
Oh, I'm sitting there.
Sitting in the bush?
Sitting there, cross-legged and cold. I had a T-shirt on.
How are you going to go to sleep sitting?
I was scared.
What were you
I hadn't
scared
really...
of?
It was Friday night in Basingstoke. There were hoodlums around.
And all you had on was a T-shirt?
And jeans.
And jeans, of course.
Yes.
I still feel like the bench is warmer.
So, did anybody hear you in the bush and come and investigate?
At one point they did. At one point some hoodlums stopped outside the bush. They said, you know what we haven't done in a while? We haven't beaten someone up in a while. That's how they speak, David. Bullies speak like that to each other. And I was in the bush, and at the time I was wearing a red dress.
What did you say? What?
I was wearing a dress by now.
Why? You said you're in a T-shirt.
Originally I was in a T-shirt, and then I had to put a dress on.
Why did you put a dress on?
Why? It was cold.
Where did you get a dress from?
I had it in a bag.
Why?
I was making a short film, and I had to buy the wardrobe for the cast.
You're in the bush. The hoodlums had moved on. They didn't beat you up.
I tricked them. I put the bag over my head.
You seriously put the bag over your head?
Yeah. Put yourself in my shoes. They're saying they want to beat someone up. If they look down and see me wearing a dress, it'll be like Christmas. So I put the bag over my head, and now if they look down, they'll think someone's left a bag and a dismembered body in a bush.
People at home, don't put bags on your heads.
No. Let's go back to the temperature of this bush now. You said you went into the dress for warmth, but surely the jeans and the T-shirt were warmer than the dress. There's a lot of ventilation.
I think he said he put the dress on over.
I don't think he took the jeans and the T-shirt.
Oh, it was double.
Yeah, no, but he didn't slip out of the jeans and the T-shirt, fold them up nicely at the side, and then get the dress and put it on and go, oh, I look wonderful. He wasn't doing that.
Oh, right.
By the end of the night, he's wearing the jeans, the T-shirt, the dress, and the bag.
May I just say, it's lucky this didn't happen to Melvin, because if so, he'd have been on a bench wearing a dress and nothing else.
Let's go for a guess. Is he telling the truth? Melvin, what do you think?
I think, looking at James, I can believe that he could put on a dress with a bag over his jeans and T-shirt, but a man that picks a bush over a bench, I can't trust. So on that basis, it's a lie.
Oh.
Faye.
I've got to absolutely say it's true. I'm believing every element, really.
I'm going to go true.
True. Yeah. You're saying true. Right. James, was it true or was it a lie?
It's true.
When I was a child, the only thing that would get me to sleep was my parents reading me the takeaway menu from our local Chinese restaurant, the Flying Chopstick.
David's team.
At what age was this?
I'd say it kicked off at 7 and probably lasted about a year.
Was it read out in any type of accent?
No. Well, my dad...
Would you say any type?
Any type.
There's one specific one.
Yeah, exactly.
If they were in a French accent, it'd be nice. It's quite surreal, isn't it? But I'll go with it.
My dad is half Polish, half Lithuanian, so it had a sort of Eastern European tinge.
Could you give us a kind of a little rendition?
So it would be something along the lines of...
This will be interesting.
It'd be something
We'll just separate ourselves from the person doing the routine.
You don't want to be in the clip when it comes on the news, do you?
So Dad would say, for example, black bean with chop suey, something like that. Black bean.
Was your dad the fella from Sesame Street? One pork balls. Two lovely pork balls.
You know, lychee for the end of the menu.
Lychee, that's
Yeah, I know that. The flying chops, they just serve a single lychee, don't they?
Lychees. It was the staple. It was the 70s. Things were a little bit sparse then. It was Wilson's, you know, things are hard. I can't remember his speech, but you know the one I mean. Things are terrible.
Wilson's things are hard.
Wilson's things are...
Harold Wilson, things are hard.
We've only got lychees. Things are hard. We've only got lychees, guys.
How far into the menu would you drift off?
That's a very good question.
That's why I asked it.
Yeah. My eye would be sort of fully open, like that. A little bit like...
Just one eye open.
One eye open, always looking, always just checking. And then I would say, by the end of the first page, the eye would be down.
So you used to go to sleep half a face at a time?
Can you remember the first time that this happened?
It would have been... I think it was on a Friday night. Mum and Dad would have been entertaining, and I laughed a lot and then fell asleep.
So what do you think, then? David Hay, how is this striking you?
The detail, the fact that she knew straight away what day it was on a Friday night. I don't remember what day it was when you were 7.
Oh, I
can't
did.
remember last week. I get punched in the head for a living, but...
But David, they did it a lot. They did it a lot.
Repetition, eh?
Repetition. So I knew the menu back to front because they had to do it so often.
Well, that's just Chinese. It would be that way, no, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
Romesh, what are you thinking?
I think it... I don't buy it.
David? Actually, I've got two Davids. We'll call you the haymaker and the librarian. What are you thinking, David?
Well, I think I don't believe it.
Do you realise... I like the system you've got there. We're going to call you the haymaker and the librarian. So what do you think, David?
I don't think... She's... At the age of 7, I think a 7-year-old child will require a coherent story.
All right, so you're saying it's a lie. Well, let's find out. Mel, truth or lie?
The story was, in fact, a lie!
I have told my children that every time they lie, a puppy dies somewhere.
Now you've used this line on the children, has it actually stopped them from lying?
Well, it certainly seems to have done.
Yeah.
Because they do care about puppies.
Yes.
That's a bit of a relief, actually, that you're saying that didn't result in your children telling loads and loads of lies and getting excited by the prospect of puppy death. It's heartening on that level.
No,
I don't have sadistic children.
But it's also bad advice, because what if a dog goes to attack them and they tell a lie and the dog still gets them?
Actually...
It affects the nearest. The nearest dog will die.
So you just... Well, statistically, you'd hope via osmosis the lie will kill...
Essentially, you tell the lie, dog death spreads out from you till it finds a dog, the dog dies, and then the wave of dog death stops.
Can I just ask Joe, why a puppy and not a kitten?
She's not sick.
It was a difficult decision to make. It was a toss-up between a kitten, a puppy, and their dad. And kind of puppies are the sweetest.
What is your verdict?
My team say true.
You're saying true, yeah? OK, so, Joe, is it true?
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Last year, I made my husband a birthday meal using some mince I found in the street.
OK, what... Why? Well, why? Why would you do that?
I found a carrier bag on the pavement that amongst other things, had mince in it. I don't know whether someone had left it there, whether they dropped it.
It wasn't like being clutched by, like, an old woman who was lying on the... You're not being convenient with the truth here, are you?
All right, I slapped her out the way.
What else was in the bag?
Well, there was mince, and it was wrapped up in kind of a plastic, like in one of those cardboard dishes, plastic over it, so it wasn't loose.
Oh, yeah, it sounds perfectly hygienic.
Yeah, well, it was hygienic.
How do you know, like, a dog hadn't weed on it? I know it was in the cellophane,
because I sniffed it.
Did you not have any...
You can't buy class, can you?
What did you cook him with the mince?
Well, I can only cook two things. A spag bowl and macaroni cheese.
Which one did you go for? I've known you for a while, Joe. Can I just check? Is it your current husband or the first one who died of food poisoning?
My one and only husband.
OK. Oh, it's Chesney Hawkes.
So what do you think, Lee?
I don't know. What do you think, Ray? Is this adding up?
Let's say true.
True?
I think false.
You think you said lie? You're saying lie. You're saying true. I'm going to say lie.
You're saying lie? Yeah. OK. Joe, truth or lie?
It is, of course, a lie.
Thank God. I once had to break into my own flat halfway through a haircut.
David. Oh, interesting. So, tell us the scenario.
I was having a haircut.
Where were you having a haircut?
On the doorstep of my flat.
Now, that's an unusual location to have a haircut.
You know why? Because he didn't want to clean the hair that was on the floor in the flat, so it's outside, so just to push it.
Yeah, I can understand why you might have...
The more work you can do for me, Fred, the more... thank you very much. Yes, that's why.
Why weren't you in a hairdresser's or barber shop?
Do you want to take this one, Fred? Appreciate that. Didn't have much money at the time, and my flatmate was pretty sure that she could cut my hair. She was pretty confident.
But why outside?
Because if you do it inside, you've got to sweep up all the hair. It's too messy. We thought if we did it outside, we wouldn't have to do that.
But was there a plug?
Huh?
Was there a plug outside? Was it clippers, scissors?
Oh, it was just scissors. That's all we had.
So it was an acoustic, as it were.
Yeah, it was an acoustic haircut, unplugged session.
What was the haircut?
Well, it was meant to be something close to this, but as it got interrupted halfway through, so it ended up that it was short at the front, short at the back, and kind of like that at the side, like quite long. Like someone took a mullet and went like that.
Yeah.
So she wasn't trained as a hairdresser?
In no way, shape or form.
And you did not mind that she was going to cut your hair?
It was an adventure.
Were you high?
Was I?
High?
No, we were on the bottom of the flat. We were...
I love that.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you very much.
They don't respect this kind of stuff, but I love that.
Now, you said that you were interrupted. What was the interruption?
Oh, well, we realised that we'd locked ourselves out the flat because a cat wanted to get in the front door. Asked each other, you got your keys? Neither of us had brought our keys out.
Was it your cat?
No, it wasn't our cat. It was just a cat wanted to get in the door, and we weren't going to be like, who you visiting?
So this is not the door to your flat. This is the door to the block of flats.
Yeah, we were outside, like outside.
So which floor did you live in?
I think we're the third floor.
So how did you get up there?
We asked some builders for a ladder. I asked them first, and they said no. And then my friend asked them, and they said yes. And at the time, I was all like, I was a bit stupid. And I was like, they're just letting you because you're a girl. And then she pointed out, you've got half a haircut and no shoes on.
Did you consider, when you noticed you've been locked out,
yes.
Did you consider finishing the haircut before trying to get back in?
I had to be in central London quite soon for a gig. And my wallet and everything was in the flat. I wouldn't be able to travel there. So I needed to act now. So I couldn't finish the haircut. Luckily, I'm a comic and I'm allowed to look silly.
All right. What are you thinking?
I don't think so. Why would you get somebody to cut your hair with scissors? I mean, if it was clippers and you had a haircut like me, I'd understand, but with scissors...
I mean, it's got to be a liar.
My team think it's a lie. I can see why they think it's a lie.
You're happy to go with
we're
lie?
happy to go with lie.
OK. James, were you telling the truth, or was it a lie?
I was telling the truth.
Oh.
I once had a snog with one of the people here on Would I Lie to You Tonight.
Whoa! One of us 6. Yeah, 6. You...
Hang on a minute, I'm here as well.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, you're one of them.
She didn't snog herself.
Oh, that's true, that's true. Oh, God. Oh, my word. I think my poor grasp of mathematics has never been more cruelly exposed.
So one of us 6 people... Why am I saying one of us 6? I know it wasn't me. One of them 5. Was it you?
It's true.
No, I'm Spartacus.
You see, I definitely...
very awkward if all 6 of us have snogged.
But she could only remember one.
If it's true, will the person remember, or is it like a drunken thing, or...?
I don't know if they will remember.
This is getting awkward. If this is true, this could be very awkward.
I don't know.
How many years ago?
I think it was in 98, so 15 years ago.
Just a snog.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be David at university, isn't it?
Why, did they go to university together?
They're both Cambridge, aren't they?
We did.
Yes.
And were you in the same...
No,
The plot thickens.
David is quite a lot younger than me, so...
But were you still hanging around the university?
trying to prey on freshers in Freshers Week. What you haven't said yet, Mel, is you haven't really painted a lovely picture for us of the circumstances, where you were.
Yeah.
Just talk us through that.
It was a works do.
Not me. I've never worked in my life.
It was a works do, and everyone had been working very, very hard. It was a long series, and it was the end of term party.
Stop
end of
looking
series
at me,
party.
Mel.
What was the series?
It was the England rugby team 2000.
Was it a test series?
It was a show back in the late 90s.
Was it Late Lunch?
It was called Late Lunch.
So the show you did Late Lunch, was the person you kissed a guest on the show, or were they a regular on it, or...?
No, we were colleagues.
This is a totally new type of round.
This is...
You stop trying to work out whether it's true or not, just who it
was.
Yeah. Who was it?
Wait, who was it that you kissed? Was it Rob? Please tell me when you kissed him he didn't do that. Who was it that you kissed?
Dermot. It was Dermot.
Dermot?
It was Dermot.
Wow. This is a weird one now, because if it's not true, poor Dermot now has got to answer all these questions.
I don't think you're allowed to question other panellists.
Oh, this is
not his card.
No, we're in new territory. This has never happened before.
Rob?
My proclamation is thus. You can quiz O'Leary. However, he doesn't have to answer unless he so chooses.
Well, to be fair, that's true with everyone. We're going to be legally required to speak. If you want to make people talk when they don't want to, you have to waterboard them.
I'm happy to waterboard him if you want to...
Mel, what was Dermot doing in this show?
Dermot was the guy responsible for getting the audience in.
Has Dermot said if he remembers this?
Dermot, do you remember this?
That would scupper my team's chance. I can't answer that.
Yeah, that's handy. You mean no? So you were working on...
I was working on London.
What was your position?
I was I was sort of audience researcher. So
that's handy. Just what she just said, yeah. In 1998, were you in a relationship, or is it OK to push you on this?
I'm not sure.
You said at the time, Dermot, that you weren't in a relationship.
Oh, well, he can't have been there.
Yeah. OK. So what are you going to say then, Lee? What are you thinking?
That's an interesting one, this, isn't it? What do you think?
It feels
plausible.
like... Do you think?
It's plausible.
It is plausible.
Definitely plausible.
I just think O'Leary's been too kind of reticent on the details and the facts.
Yeah, but he could be awkward because he doesn't remember, or he remembers very well and he's trying to play for his team.
Gentleman doesn't tell.
I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
Based on O'Leary.
Matt, what are you thinking on this?
I'm not sure. I don't think the dates fit. Lie.
Well, go with lie then.
You're saying it's a lie?
I think it might be true, but I'm going with my team and saying lie.
Mel, it was a wonderful, wonderful tale. Was it true, or were you telling a lie?
Well, Rob, gents, Dermot, I was telling the truth.
Joe, you're next.
I was once favourite to win an athletics event. But ended up coming last after an incident in a toilet cubicle.
David's team.
Well, right. OK, what was the athletics event?
It was a javelin.
The javelin, and when were you entered into a javelin competition?
When I was at school.
How old were you?
I was about 16.
And you were the favourite?
I was.
Why?
Because I could chuck it a long way.
How far roughly?
Probably...
For God's sake, make it less than 110 metres, which is the world record. Give yourself a fighting chance.
111 metres. No, I would say about 20 or 30 metres.
Were you also good at running fast?
Ha, ha, ha.
I mean, to be fair, I think that was a genuine question.
Oh, sorry. I see
get
you
the
mean
momentum to
running.
throw it.
Yeah, OK. I did actually, for a short time, hold the 100-metre record for our school. That was because I was having a fag behind the bike sheds and I heard the dinner bell.
What was the incident in the toilet that handicapped your performance?
I was preparing for sports day, the afternoon, so I went in the toilet to have a fag, and I had a box of matches, and I struck one to light my fag with, didn't blow it out properly, put it back in the box, and the box exploded in my javelin throwing hand.
Oh. Wow. So this is a story about a serious burn.
Yeah, so I had to throw the javelin at sports day with my left hand.
Well, Johnny, what do you think? How does this strike you?
I think it could be true.
And you think it's... True. OK, true.
You were saying it is true. Joe, truth or lie?
It is true. I once got on the tube with a live pigeon in my pocket.
David's team.
Why was the pigeon in your pocket?
It was quite badly injured.
Oh, so you were being a good Samaritan to pigeons?
Ish, I was a bit peckish.
You hadn't yet decided. It could go either way.
What had happened to the pigeon?
What happened to it?
Yeah.
Went very nicely with some roast potato. No, I took it to, actually to the local vets when I got home.
So where did you find...
It was lying on the pavement.
And what was the nature of the garment in the pocket of which you placed the pigeon?
It was a clown's outfit.
And it's your own fault for standing on it in the first place with your big feet.
It was a duffel coat.
A duffel coat. But did you think about just carrying it, or did you think I'll put it in my pocket? Because if it's a pigeon that's struggling, I think it's probably causing it more pain.
It was beyond struggling. It was
a dead pigeon.
A dead pigeon.
It was kind of really knackered and...
Can I ask, were you going to somewhere when this happened, or were you going back home?
I was going to somewhere.
So you went to a meeting, possibly a high-level TV meeting, about...
There are other places available, David.
I'm just guessing. With a pigeon in your pocket.
I like the fact you gave it two options, a meeting or a high-level TV read.
I'm trying to imagine...
I was going to the local hospital to have a smear.
While it was in your pocket, did it start flapping?
No.
So it was just completely quiet, but not dead, in your pocket. Did you have some seed in your pocket?
Of course she did! We all carry emergency trill.
What are you thinking, Kimberly? Does it have the ring of truth for you?
I think it's a lie. I've saved a pigeon before, and it was quite badly hurt.
Oh, here we go.
It was really flappy.
Am I the only person that hasn't saved a pigeon?
I haven't.
I have a hard time believing it would sit in the pocket.
What were the circumstances for you, Kimberly?
I was at my flat. My now husband was gone, and I...
I'm sorry to hear that. Very brave of you to talk about it on the show.
There was a lot of commotion outside, so I went to look, and there was a pigeon struggling. But I was worried to touch it because I thought of diseases and things, so I left it and had to go away and think what to do.
So what did you do?
I tweeted about it.
Did he tweet back?
Well, somebody did, and they sent a cab to get the pigeon to take it to the Wildlife Foundation to save it.
I really don't believe this.
So what are you thinking, David?
Well, Kimberly, what do you think? You think it's true?
I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
I think it's a lie.
Lie? I think we think it's a lie.
OK, you're saying lie. Joe, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
One Christmas, on hearing I wasn't going to get the present I wanted, I tried to drown myself. In protest.
David C.
Tell us the story.
Well, I wasn't going to get the present I wanted.
Which was? What did you want?
The Spice Girls' debut album, Spice.
It's a lie. That's so weird, because I did get it, and I did try and drown myself.
No! Don't applaud that. It's a great album.
How old were you then?
I was like 10 or 11.
Right.
So you wanted the album...
No, you really wanted it.
Stop right now. So you wanted the album?
Yes, I really wanted it.
OK, so don't use mine in the edit, yeah? Well, can I just say stop right now?
Yeah.
I'll have that one if they use this.
Who's your friend? Big Ears?
So what happened, James?
I wanted the Spice Girls album, Spice. And so did my sister. We'd both been pestering our parents a lot for the album. My father decided he had to tell us before Christmas who was going to get the album or not, because he didn't want an upset on Christmas Day. And so he waited until we were in a safe space, was the local swimming pool. We'd all gone for a family swim.
Yeah.
And
It's a lovely Christmassy thing to do. A lot of people do a lot of swimming in the run-up to Christmas.
Yes. Because it was in honour of the 7 swans of swimming.
Yeah.
That's what we did. We were swimming, and then my dad called a family meeting.
Shallow end?
Shallow end, yes. Oh, you're not treading water during a family meeting. He said, right, it's a week until Christmas, and I'm just going to let you know that Ruth is getting the Spice Girls album.
Ridiculous.
Well, where were you then? Because at the time, I looked like I overreacted.
Well, take us through this reaction. Paint a picture of how a young James reacted.
It was like a storm came over me. I was very angry. And then I turned and I walked to the other end of the shallow end. I did a width.
Yeah.
I would have stormed away, but it's very hard. Wade through the water. You have to say every now and again, I'm really cross. Went to the other end, and I turned round so they could see my face, and I just sat down slowly. And I was under the water. I went, well, I was thinking this. I guess I'll either stay here until one of two things happens. Either I get the Spice Girls' debut album Spice, or I'm gonna die.
Which happened?
Well, what happened was, I came back up again, and I saw that not only were they not... They were just carried on swimming. They got always under the water now, and my dad quickly went, problem solved, and they carried on swimming.
What are you thinking, Noddy?
I just don't think his dad would do that. I think he'd buy 2 albums.
Oh, I'm unaware that you knew my father, Noddy.
What do you think about the 2 albums buying issue?
Well, like, as a parent, I just would have thought that just quietly, like, going off to HMV to buy an album is easier than taking the whole family for a group swim.
So what are you going to say, David? What's it going to be?
I think it's fine.
I'll say lie. You think that you both think it's a lie? I'm going to say lie.
OK. James, were you telling us the truth, or was it a lie?
I was telling the truth.
This box contains everything I need to play my family's favourite festive game.
All right, so could you now take the contents out and put them onto the desk, please? Oh. Well, it's a plastic cup. Water. Pen there. Sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Well, it looks exciting.
What you do, right, is you get up the glass.
I'm a bit nervous about what you're going to do. Oh, all right. There we go. A little.
You come up, like, with a category.
A category, yes.
Yes, like...
Ah! Sorry, I've got cramp in my foot. Just bear with me a minute.
Like diseases of the knee.
Keep thinking. You're right. That's better, thank you. Carry on.
So
you've come up with a category, yes?
Yeah, so, and I'm going to start the game off. So I think of something in that category, and I write that down on a bit of paper.
Yes.
You have got to come up with something from the category.
Yes.
Which is trees.
Yeah.
So you each say a tree, and if anyone says the tree that I've written on the paper, I throw this over them.
Oh, let's play it. Let's play it. We'll give you a category. The category is things you might find in a Christmas dinner. So food items in a Christmas dinner. Right, now fold the paper up. Don't let them see it.
OK.
OK. Now, Joe, Lee and Joe Swash are your sons. They've come home.
No.
They're back from the youth detention centre.
Would you like my friend Robert to play? Yes. Rob, my mum says you can play.
Thanks.
You can come in and have a play. We're all playing the game.
Oh, hang on a minute. No, wait a minute. I'm being told that my desk is not waterproof.
Oh, yeah.
But you're... No, seriously, but there's it.
Oh, my God, yes. Sorry.
Yes. Now, my desk also. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, I've just been told my skin is soluble.
I'm telling you the truth. That's what they're telling me. So remember now, boys, the category is things in a Christmas dinner. Get ready. Here we go. Let's get the tension.
Sorry.
OK.
Yeah.
Lee Mac, something you'd find in a Christmas dinner.
OK, I'm going to go for a... nut roast.
Ooh. Oh, the tension there when she said
That was,
it.
yeah.
Wow. OK. Joe Swash.
A Brussels sprat.
Oh, it's back to Lee.
This is unbearable. Absolutely unbearable. I'm going to go for a carrot.
Oh. Oh, Joe Swash.
Pigs in blankets.
Oh, Lee.
Double look me.
turkey!
Oh, the
Joe Swash.
This is an unbelievably stressful game.
Yorkshire pudding.
What are you talking about?
That's not allowed.
Yorkshire pudding at my Christmas dinner.
No, this is...
Yes, only because it's set the sat-nav for Brussels sprouts.
Gravy.
He said gravy as well.
Gravy.
He said gravy. Lima.
Gravy.
Cranberry sauce!
Joe Swash.
Bit of turkey.
He said turkey. He already said turkey.
OK, I'll go with some carrots.
He said carrots!
Right, I'll go with some stuffing.
That's the happiest thing that's ever happened to me.
Was that game genuinely something that Joe plays, or did she just make it up? Truth or lie?
Even if it's not, to come up with that on the spot is brilliant. I'm playing that on Christmas Day.
Oh, it's a brilliant game. If Joe invented that game in the last few seconds, reading off a card, then, well, she'd be a genius.
OK, so what's it going to be? Truth or lie?
We're going to say true.
OK, Joe. This
It's
incredible Christmas game.
Oh, my goodness me.
Truth or lie?
It's true. My husband and I have agreed that the hour between 7 and 8 p.m. is the only time we're allowed to gripe about our various aches and pains. We call this hour the moan zone.
David's team.
Between 7 and 8 p.m.
Yes.
Is that the time you find the aches and pains are most noticeable?
No, it's because it's when the one show's on.
What specific aches and pains, Joe? Because I will say you've been rather sprightly this evening.
Don't be patronising, Will.
You did say that like you were playing Monopoly with your grandmother.
So, what are the aches and pains, Joe?
Well, I've got a bad knee.
I've got a bad knee, actually, as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
What's the cause of your bad knee?
I don't... life, you know.
Oh, life, OK.
The inferior design technique of the creator, should there be one. Anyway, this isn't about me.
Joe, what happens if you moan outside of those hours? Like, do you have, like, a moan jar where you...
No, the other one can say anything they like to the other one to shut them up.
Oh.
Including the C word. Coco.
In the hour, is it you first, 7 till 7:30, your aches and pains, and then here's a 7:30 to 8, or do you alternate? I'll see your knee, I raise you a coccyx.
This is what David's like when he's chatting up women.
Well, it's not that formal, really.
Is this ringing any bells with you, Lee? I mean, in your household?
I would like to get to that age where you can do the chair where you press the button and it helps you up. Oh, that's nice. Then, you know what I mean?
I tell you what, this is going to steal all those younger viewers back from Netflix, isn't it?
How old are you, Bobby?
I'm a prime number. One more than a square number, but it's a prime number.
Oh, in that case, you are... Wait, I've got this. You are 36. Yes. Oh, you are a prime number?
I am a prime number, yeah.
37.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Yes. I mean...
10 points Gryffindor.
Thank you.
Joe can't believe that Lee has got the applause when she said 37 6 times. 37.
We get clever students, we know they've got it correct. Like, in Parents' Evening, I would say Joe's doing really well, but sometimes students like Lee, we've got to encourage them in the lesson.
Oh, I like you, Bobby. All right, so what do we think? Joe, what are you thinking about this?
Well, it sounds true to me. I mean, I think it's a bit weird that we wouldn't believe other people.
Yeah.
Right, we may be having a bit of a problem here this evening.
OK.
Sam, what about you?
I quite like it. It's very constructive. I think it could be true.
I think we're going to go with true.
You're saying true. OK, Joe, was it true or was it a lie?
It is a lie.
I once licked David Bowie's cake just to be close to him.
David?
Now, I would have thought that was not a good way of being close to him, but that was a way of being forcibly removed from his presence. So how did licking his cake bring you close to him?
Right, so, it was the 1980s. I believe it was the year of the Glass Spider tour.
Yeah.
I was working as a waitress.
In a cocktail
bar.
Not a Bowie song.
I was going to say, I'm sure. I'm no expert, but that's not one of his.
That much is true.
Right.
Thank you.
So, Mel, if you were working as a waitress...
It wasn't a cocktail bar, it was a cappuccino bar, because it was the 80s. So I was working as a waitress in a cappuccino bar.
Hang on, was cappuccino popular in the 80s? Let's get this...
Yeah, they came in the 80s, didn't they?
They arrived in Port Talbot a week last Thursday.
Anyway, I'm not quite good-looking enough / slim enough to be serving at tables.
Oh, right.
So
did
this
they
is
tell you this? Did they say, I'm sorry, love, I'm sorry.
No.
I can't have you serving the customers, I'm sorry.
We're going to have to hide you round the back making the froth.
No, pretty much. I was a washer-upper in the aforementioned cappuccino bar. Now, massive excitement one day. I'm in the back doing the washing up. The word is spreading like wildfire. Bowie's in, Bowie's in, Bowie's in. I saw him in profile, sitting...
How did you see him from the kitchen?
At the cappuccino bar, because I could look through the door.
You were allowed...
Occasionally.
And all the customers went... and she was grabbed back in again, a manacle.
Get back in the chocolate sprinkles pit!
So, Bowie had ordered, let's imagine, I think it was something like a sort of... a hot chocolate fudge slice, please, or something like that.
Can we get on to the licking?
Let's get on to the licking.
It's like Friday night in my house.
I thought, I'm not going to get to say hello to him because I'm not allowed to go out front and serve the man. So what can I do just to feel that I have entered him in some way? I mean, just...
Yes, that some of your DNA has
him.
been ingested by the great man.
Well, what sort of lick? With bearing in mind that this is very much a family show, do the lick for us now.
Plate, slice, it would have been... I'll just try and get back in the zone. Hang on. It would have just been a...
So it's just a little. That's not what I imagined, actually. I thought you would go up and down it a couple of times.
No,
it's
just a little polite
just
lick.
A touch.
It was full of homage and reverence for the great man. And then obviously it went out, and I never saw him again.
It wasn't long after that he was hospitalised. All right, David, what are you thinking? Could this be true?
Well, it could be true, but...
you know, she started off as a waitress, then she became, you know...
A washer-upper.
Yes. I think it sounds so absurd, and she's been so random that I think there's an element of truth to it, personally.
So what are you going to say, David? Is it truth or is it a lie?
Well, one or the other. I think on balance it's a lie.
You're going to say a lie? So, Mel, licking David Bowie's cake, is it true or was it a lie?
It is a great fat true.
At school, I once rubbed stinging nettles all over my face and told my teacher I was ill so I could go and meet a boy in a graveyard.
David's team.
True. So this was a date in the graveyard. Was the boy living?
He was just before we met, yeah.
And these, Joe, you say these are your school days, so we're talking about the 1990s. Now, what was the... It's my way of being flattering and gentle. Chivalrous, you say. Chivalrous. When was this, Joe?
The 1890s.
That would have been the late 60s, actually, early
Late
70s.
60s?
Yeah.
Gosh, OK. So when you walked into the graveyard like this, he must have been shocked to see you.
Rob, he was pleased to see me. He knew what he was going to get.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What's he going to get?
I bought him a cake.
So, freshly nettled, you go off, you go and find your teacher. What happens then?
Well, I say to the teacher, I'm really not feeling well. I don't know whether I ate something for lunch that's given me some sort of allergic reaction. Can I go home?
I mean, I don't know. I've never run a school. But are you allowed, if a child says they're ill, you're allowed to just say, yeah, off you go?
Well, I said to her that my mum was at home and I live within walking distance of the school.
It was the late 60s, early 70s. Very different time. Children hadn't long stopped going up chimneys. So what do you think?
Oh,
Johnny?
I think it's so unfeasible, it's probably true, don't we?
Well, that's the wrong way to reason. It should be unfeasible things are less likely to be true.
Yeah, but...
Although the true things are deliberately picked to be unlikely.
Exactly.
I travelled here by car, for example, never come up. That would be easy.
Sorry, can I just check something here?
Yeah.
Why do you get a car?
Yeah, it's a class thing, you know.
They still shouldn't make me drive your car.
Right, Joe, in the graveyard with
What
the
do you
young
think?
man.
True? Because it sounds so unlikely.
Yeah.
I still think it's flawed reasoning, but we'll go true.
You're saying that it's true?
Yeah.
Right, Joe. Truth or lie?
It is a lie. Last year, I ate my Christmas dinner in the bath.
David's team.
But why?
Because we had quite a lot of family round and I just wanted to be on my own because I was in a really bad...
No, was it on a plate?
That's a horrible image, isn't it?
It was on a plate.
Hold on. So I'm just going to picture the scene, right? You've got your Christmas dinner on the plate and you just get up to the table and you say, I'm just going off to the bath for a bit. And the family...
I don't think I announced it.
Oh, you didn't?
I was just so fed up with everyone. I just got up, took my dinner, went upstairs and thought, I'm going to have a bath.
But didn't you find it that you got really hot eating in the bath?
I could eat my Christmas dinner in a fire.
Where did you put the dinner when you were running the bath?
On the toilet.
On the toilet.
Did you allow the bath...
Not with... I mean, with a lid on and a nice little tablecloth. No.
Even so, I think it's a bit...
Do you?
It's just the... It's the associations, isn't it, of the two ends of the process.
It's like saying to the food, this is where you're going to end up, mate. We both know it. You know it, I know it.
You're going on an incredible journey. Yeah. Did you continue to eat your Christmas dinner while the bath was running, or did you pause in that process to sort of save it until you were nice and comfy in the bath?
I had a couple of sprouts, David.
Right. Did you have, like, a tray that goes over the side of the bath? Yeah. You can put the dinner on, or did you have to balance it on your knees?
I had to balance it.
On your knees?
Not necessarily.
If you're balancing it on a part of you, is there not a risk that it will become submerged at some point, which would ruin the dinner? Essentially, you're turning your Christmas dinner into the Maldives in about 30 years' time, when, you know, the bath water of the world starts to wash the sprouts towards the plug hole.
Well, I don't put enough water in the bath for that. In fact, you know, I don't hardly need to put any water in the bath.
OK. What do you think, David? What do your team think?
I think maybe you had a bath, but you didn't eat your Christmas dinner there.
Yeah, I can believe that Joe has had baths and has eaten Christmas dinners. I don't believe she's ever combined the two processes.
I think she might have done.
Oh, you think she might have done?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought we were heading towards consensus there, but in a very Christmassy way, we're very much at loggerheads.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I think, seeing as I feel a little bit 50-50...
Yeah.
Oh, no, that doesn't help at all, does it?
Well, no, it does. Because if you're 100% it's true and you're only 50% it's...
Who said I was 100%? I'm about 80.
All right. I'm going to need a pen. This is why I keep saying I need a spreadsheet. OK, we're going to say true.
So they're saying true. Joe, eating your Christmas dinner in the bath. Truth or lie?
It's a lie.